Loose and burnt out. Latch busted. Busted. Rusty. Deck needs coated. Broken. And there's the new shoes for the trailer. Let's haul them out, get them inside, and get them on the trailer. And then we'll do a little bit of a walk around. Now, while I'm putting the tires and the wheels back on, something to talk about that's very important is tire pressure. So if you're used to putting 30-35 pounds of pressure in your car, take a look at your trailer tire and you will be surprised. This one is 65 psi, and part of that is the sidewalls don't have enough plies to have the strength in them, so it takes a lot more pressure. And I don't know what Ken Towery put in here, so we'll have to check it. So I've hauled it outside to get a better look at it. The first thing we're going to do is check the lights. So that side light isn't working. That light is busted out, bulb gone, obviously not working. Side light's working, but not the actual turn signal / brake light. That light bar's working. And that light is on. Again, the signal light isn't working, but the side marker is good. That needs some work. And it actually turned the light off. That side marker works. That one doesn't, and I can see the wire. So definitely due for a full rewire and replacement of some side markers and figure out why. As you can see, I've got my flashers on. And there's nothing on the trailer as far as turn signals or flashers. Alright, so we know the status of the lights aren't good. Next, we're going to talk about rust. So you can see I'm starting to get some surface rust on all the trailer rails. Especially the jack is getting quite rusty. Fenders aren't too bad. They're actually in really good shape, but they could use some paint as well. Down along the tailgate, starting to rust. And the opposite side is much the same. So that's why I said that I want to touch up the paint, do a respray. These latches, I don't know if you can see inside there with that wire, but there's nothing to really lock it anymore, so it's impossible to lock it open. So those need to be fixed. I ordered a couple replacements for that. The deck itself is in pretty good shape, but I do want to put another coat of sealer on it. It's been a while since I've done that. Here's something I don't like about these trailers. This expanded metal. It's like they tack welded every fourth connection point. That one's come undone. That one's come undone. That one's come undone. That one and that one. And that happened by carrying a log, just walking up the back tailgate and stepping right there, and it broke them all off. Unfortunately, I'm not a welder and I don't have a welder, so I'm going to have to come up with some other means to fix that up. Now overall, for 3 years worth of heavy duty work, I mean, I use this all the time and got thousands of miles on it. I'm pleased with how it's held up, but I do want it to last many more years, and that's why we continue to do maintenance on these things. Again, a reminder, be sure to check your wheel bearings, make sure they're packed full of grease, which I did this spring, and check your tire pressures based on the recommendation on your tire. For the first year owning this, I admit I ran it far too low. I kind of assumed it'd be the 35-pound range, and I was way off, 65 pounds for these particular tires anyway. So we got a little bit of time on our hands today on a cool morning. So we're going to go ahead and replace our tailgate release latches. So we got the old pin out, the old spring. So we hopefully won't have to beat on this to make it work. On Amazon, you can buy these kits. They come in kits of 2. But it's got the new springs, new pins, some cotter pins. So what I've got to do is compact this spring, fit it in the box, feed the new pin through, and then insert the cotter pin. So now we're going to have to hold that spring back long enough to get the cotter pin in, and we'll go from there. Seems to be working pretty good. Hopefully it keeps working that good after I get the pin in. Locks. And releases. Locks. All right. One down, one to go. So looking at this tailgate pin, I think I see why it's not working well. It's because the spring has kind of jumped over the stopper. So that cotter pin there is supposed to be at the end of the spring, not the middle of the spring. Anyway, we'll get this pulled out and we will replace it just like the other one. So today it's time to work on the trailer lighting. So the first thing I'm going to do is remove all the existing lighting, all the existing wiring. I did pick up a trailer lighting kit on Amazon, which I'll show you in a minute. So here's the kit I picked up on Amazon. It's got some reflective stickers. Side markers are a lot smaller than I pictured them to be. Certainly smaller than what's on the trailer now, so I may have to drill some additional holes to mount those. More side markers, hardware. The tail lights look about the same size, maybe a little narrower than the ones I just took off there. We got a license plate mount and a boatload of wiring to do. That should be fun to figure out. Hopefully there's instructions somewhere. Oh, one more thing. New light bar for the back. And real quick, there is 1 page of instructions. Hopefully that's going to do. So as I'm going along preparing to put the new lights on, I'm also going around putting the primer on and then the new gloss black paint so I can put the new lights over the new paint. So it's a bit of a here and there kind of approach, but at the end of the day we should make our way all the way around the trailer and hopefully we have functioning lights and a fresh coat of paint before we move on to the next things we need to fix. All right, excuse the mess, and I'm not gonna lie, this took me more than a couple hours to rewire and relight my trailer, but I do like how it looks with those new LEDs on there. The kit that I bought, nothing really fit in the existing holes except for the tail lights. So that third light there at the bottom, the light bar, needed new holes. Side lights needed new holes because they're a lot smaller than what was there before. Got to use one of the holes, but I had to drill a new one for each one. But they are on, and they are working fantastic. And in the process of putting all these lights on, I also got the trailer pretty much painted. I got to touch up a couple spots on the tailgate. But yeah, there's a look at my new side markers. Excited. I'm really excited about that. Glad it all worked. The next thing we're going to tackle is this damaged tailgate or ramp where stepped on it carrying a bit of weight and it just decided to come loose. And for that, I picked up these two angles, 4-foot angles. And what we're going to do is drill them and bolt it to the inside of the edge angle. So basically reinforcing the tailgate while sandwiching the expanded metal between the two angles. So let's get on that and then I'll give you another update. Now I recognize it's going to be black on black, so it's going to be a little hard to see, but we've gone ahead and clamped our angle iron that has been painted to our tailgate ramp. And now it's time to drill some holes, which we've already drilled in our angle through the rest of the way, and then bolt that on to reinforce that expanded metal grate. So that one's ready for a bolt. I want that sandwich pretty tight, so I don't want that expanded metal pulling through. Go ahead and get the second bolt in, and then we can remove that top clamp. All right, I'm going to go ahead and finish off these bolts, and then I'll check back in with you. Well, reinforcing the tailgate ramp took me hours to drill all those holes, but it is now done, and I think it shows up best from this side because you can see the bolt pattern there. If I go around the back, that is mirrored, obviously, on this side. Now, because everything's black, it's kind of hard to see the angle that I've added there. But we've reinforced the tailgate. I've also put to use those reflective stickers that came in the brake package that I had. So the only thing we have left to do now, well, let me just show you here first. This was the piece that was bulged out. It is now tucked away nice and neat and sandwiched between the new angle and the old angle, or the original angle. Next thing we got to do is clean off the deck and re-stain or seal that for another season. And then we can move on to wrapping up this video. So the last thing we're going to do in this year's maintenance of our utility trailer is to coat the deck once again. Now I thought I had some clear waterproofing agent, but turns out I didn't. But I did find in the barn this gallon that I bought at a yard sale of Olympic Maximum stain and sealant. So it's a waterproofer, but it's also a stain, and the stain color happens to be cedar. Now, given that this is a colored coating for a deck, cedar, this may look terrible when I'm done. But you know, at the end of the day, all I'm worried about really is making sure it's got a new coat of water seal on. So let's go ahead and put that on and see how it looks, and then I'll check back in with you. I don't think it's looking too bad. You know what? At the end of the day, I think I'm going to be happy with that little bit of color in the deck. But we got it all done, resealed, keep it a little bit waterproof for a little bit longer. My paint is already getting dusty from being in the barn where I'm doing a lot of woodworking. But with a little spray of the hose, that'll clean up very nice. As a quick recap, we addressed the rust by painting the entire trailer. We addressed all the broken lights by replacing every one of the lights and all the wiring. We fixed our wonky tailgate by sandwiching it in between a couple new angle irons that fit really well. So these bolts are what sandwiches that all together. Also, we addressed the deck by putting a fresh coat of clear coat sealant on there. Just happened to have a little bit of cedar color in it, which turned out all right. We started off the video with the new tires. Again, be sure to check the air pressure, a lot higher than your vehicle tires. And if you haven't checked your wheel bearings, do that as well. You may have to pack them up with grease, and there's lots of good videos out there on that. But overall, we are complete with this year's trailer maintenance. Ready for another season. And that's going to bring another episode of Try New Things to an end, where we brought new life to an old trailer. It wasn't all that hard, but it did take me over the course of about 5 weeks just picking away on it here in the barn. But we're ready for the spring season for sure. If you have any questions or comments, as always, leave those below. Do me a big favor, hit the thumbs up before you leave. Hit subscribe if you haven't already, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye. So now we're going to take a quick break to thank this week's sponsor. And this week's sponsor, like every week's sponsor, is me, Chris Gladstone with TNT Try New Things, where I have started a new website link partnering with Buy Me a Coffee as an opportunity for you to check out some of the items I have for sale that you have probably watched the videos on me making. It's also an opportunity to sponsor the channel directly, either through buying me a coffee, or, if you're feeling particularly generous, signing up for an annual membership. With that, I'm going to go back to the video.